Junior on the track. Junior on the track.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fix Your Crown podcast. It's been a while since we've seen you, huh? We've all been enjoying our summer. Now it's time to come back. Kids are going back to school, so I think we need to get back to work. So, how have you guys been?
Been good.
Been good.
Good?
Hanging on. Doing good.
Okay. So, what have you guys been up to?
A lot.
Everything and nothing.
Yeah, at the same time.
Girl.
Okay. Hmm. So,
How
we're
about
gonna
you?
get I've been chilling, working. My niece, my great niece, has been here with me practically the whole summer. So when I say y'all, she's been keeping me busy. That's what I've been doing. And I said, okay, now I miss the girls. It's time to get back to it. So today's topic, Kiara, you had VSG surgery, right?
Yes.
So how do you feel?
I feel pretty good. It's been 2 weeks today. So I feel I'm at that 14-day jump. So I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay.
Do
Okay.
y'all have any questions for me?
Yes. What was the preparation and how long? And tell me everything.
All right. So I want to say, well, last year y'all know I switched jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So when I switched jobs, I had like got a sit down job because before I was like working at the bank. And so I had noticed that I started to gain weight because I was sitting down. And so I had started the process before, but my different insurances wouldn't cover it. And so once I noticed I had started like gaining weight, I had talked to a girl on my job and she was like, well, you know, our job will pay for you to get vertical sleeve gastrectomy. And so I was like, okay. So December of 2023, I called VCU, which was who I had started the process with before. And I went, when I went for my appointment, because they had already started everything, she said I could just come back and get back into the program I was in before. So the qualifications for my insurance, because every insurance is different. For my insurance, it was 6 months of supervised nutritional visits where they teach you like how to eat. You have like these forever rules that you have to follow, but I'll get into that later. But you have like the forever rules you have to follow. And then you have for my insurance, every insurance doesn't require it, but mine insurance required me to get a psych eval. So I went, I got a psych eval. They dig like all the way into your like childhood and stuff like that, just trying to like see why you overeat, how you got to the weight that you are and stuff like that. And then I did have to get a endoscopy. So they went in with the camera and everything to make sure that I wasn't a candidate for acid reflux once I had my surgery. And then after that, I went to my last appointment. After my 6 months, I went to my last appointment June the 18th. And then you have to wait like 30 days to see if your insurance is happy with the qualifications. The biggest thing was the psych eval, because they want to make sure that you are mentally prepared to handle like all of the weight changes that's going to take place. Some people like develop body dysmorphia. I didn't know that was a thing, because when I lose weight, you ain't got to convince me that I'm a different size, baby. I'm going to buy different size clothes. And so a lot of people, they like lose a lot of weight, but they still see their self as like being 400 pounds, you know, or whatever they are. So they make sure that you're mentally able to handle that. So I passed that with flying colors. And then they submitted everything to my insurance on, I went to the doctor on June the 18th. They submitted everything on June the 27th. And I got my answer like July the 12th or something like that. And then my 2-week pre-op diet started on July the 19th. And I had surgery on 8/2. I had surgery on August the 2nd.
Wow. Congratulations.
I'm
And,
proud of you,
and I'll give my
Keith.
stats in a minute. I'm not gonna give my stats right now, but I'll give my, stats where I started and all that stuff in a minute.
Right. So what was
Okay.
your pre-op meal thing that you just said?
Liquid.
Oh,
So that was like by far the hardest thing I ever did. I actually just stopped today. Today was the
oh,
first
even
day.
afterwards? Wow.
Oh yeah, because see what happens is they're trying to shrink your liver. So I did have to have a liver scan also.
Uh-huh.
And what it revealed was that of course I had a fatty liver because I was
Mhm.
eating so many fatty foods and stuff. And so you have to go on a 2-week liver shrinking diet. So I
Wow.
could only have clear broth, jello, free sugar-free jello. You can't have any sugar. Like even now, like I really technically can never have like regular sugar again. So I was doing like the Minute Maid zero sugar, and I was getting like a pack of Kool-Aid and like shaking it up in there, like the blue Kool-Aid. It was real good. It like got me through there. You could do like popsicles, sugar-free popsicles. And then of course I had to do mine's call for 4.5 protein shakes a day.
Wow.
Yeah, because the protein is what like really goes in there and like does the liver. But I'll be honest, because I don't want anybody to, I did not meet my 4 a day. I would usually get like 3 in a day. But I was so scared because they'll open you up, and if you haven't did the diet correctly, they'll close you back up and reschedule your surgery. So I was like, please let me wake up in my stomach. He didn't cut my stuff. Please. I had like did cheat a little bit. I ate and this is for our viewers because maybe somebody's thinking about getting it. Don't do what I do. Okay, don't do what I did.
Right.
It's good. But I did cheat one time.
Uh-huh.
I did, and I ate a tofu sandwich, and then I felt tremendously guilty.
Oh.
And I never cheated again. So yeah, so it was just one time. But
Okay.
so if you're going through the process and don't beat yourself up, but don't keep doing it. They open you up and sew you back up.
I got a question about the recovery, because the punk in me, I feel like I would just be probably more dramatic than really I should be.
So you want to know like what was recovery
How
like?
was recovery and what has it been like? Because I know it's only 2 weeks out. So what has that process been like for you?
So I'm gonna be brutally honest. Okay. The night before was my nerves was wrecked. Just because people don't understand what a serious surgery that it is. Like they removed 80% of my stomach. Wow. And they stapled in the inside. And then the thing is, what a lot of people don't know is they don't open you all the way up. So it's like they're using a robot to actually do the surgery. So I have 6 incisions. He told me I was only going to have 4, but it's 6 of them. And then so I was very nervous the night before. So when I got to the hospital, my son had to go to school had to go to school that day. So I had to do it by myself because I had to be there at, I think it was like 5 or 6 in the morning. Okay. And so we had to get up, and I had to be there at 5. So we had to get up at like 4, get my son up. So I'm just like so nervous. I'm like, Lord, the whole thing. I was just like, please let me wake back up. So I was nervous when I got there. They got me in prep. They take a sample from you and everything, and then they give you something to relax you. Right. Okay. Like I always say, I technically remember I've had major surgery a couple of times. I remember falling asleep. This time I did not. Oh. They said, we're going to give you a Flexeril. I thought, okay. They gave me a Flexeril. And I just remember okay. And then I woke up from the surgery. When I initially woke up, I'm not going to lie to you, I was very sad. I don't know if it was something with the anesthesia or just, you know, when having the surgery, even though I do not, and I'll say this up front, I do not regret my decision. I do feel like it has been a wonderful decision. But in that moment, I was kind of like just so sad because I'm like, hey, you know, like this is permanent. Like my stomach is gone. So in the recovery room, I could not have any visitors. I couldn't see my sister. I couldn't see my husband, my dad. You know, people was coming to the hospital, and you know, I thank you for that support. But they couldn't even come. They couldn't even see me. But I could not even keep water down.
Was that a decision of the doctor for you not to have
Well,
visits?
Good question. Good question. Well, the room that I was in, it had every other patient that had surgery in it.
Oh, okay.
So I had a man beside me who had just had open heart surgery. So it couldn't be any visits, but I was unaware of that at first because I was disoriented. You know what I mean? And so when I initially woke up, my nurse, and I'm not making fun of his nationality, but y'all know how I am. He was an African man. He was like, "Are you woke? Are you woke? Wake up." And so once I woke up, I'm like, okay. So immediately they're like, you got to wait a few minutes and then we're going to give you something to drink. So I could not keep water down.
Wow.
Like when they gave me a sip of water, like y'all, it came up so bad that I was like, am I going to bust my pouch? Because it was so bad. Like I was passing out. Like and this was something that I didn't even tell you, Nitra. I didn't even tell Keon until today. That I would like be sitting in the bed and I would literally like be talking to the doctor and I would pass out and wake up and the room would be spinning. Like the anesthesia had a horrible effect on me. Everybody is different, but I had a horrible experience with the anesthesia. So I'm not trying to drag it out too long, but after that, they get you, you know, my dad and my husband was able to come in the back. They snuck them back there, and it was literally for like 5 minutes. They said, y'all not supposed to be back here, but I was just like, I need to see somebody. Is my sister here? Is my brother-in-law here? Are they here? And, you know, I don't want them to think, you know, so they let my dad and them come back. And then after that, they were like, it took them so long to get me to a room. And by the way, I had surgery at VCU Medical Center, you know, FYI. And then, like I said, I went to my room and then they get you up and walking. Like
that's good.
I had visions. And I mean, I was in so much pain, I couldn't even laugh. Like I couldn't sneeze. I couldn't cough. I couldn't do anything because I had 6 cuts. You know, I have 6 cuts on my stomach and they fresh, but they like, you got to get up. I mean, anesthesia, I'm like this, but you got to get up and you got to walk every 4 hours. Wow. And so I couldn't go, of course, I couldn't use the bathroom on my own. Like, I'm not gonna lie, recovery made me like, I was like, man, I want my old stomach back for a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
but to make a long story short, you stay in the hospital for a day, but if you're having complications, you stay for more. So the doctor came in the room and he was like, yeah, you know, you haven't been keeping anything down. He was like, so we're probably gonna have to keep you over the weekend. Oh no, sir, I'm going home today. So I was like, when the nurse came in the room, I said, he said, are you ready? Can I take another walk around? Can we take another lap around? So I took another lap around. I was still not really holding anything down. And then all of it, you know, when he came back in the room, he said, some patients, it just go away just out of the blue. And I promise you, that is what it did. Like an hour and a half later, it went away. And my surgeon came in the room and he said, it was so nice. He said, you did great. You know, your surgery went well. And he said, and goodbye. And he shook my hand and they dismissed me.
Good.
Yeah.
Because, girl, let me tell you, I would probably be asking the doctor, can I stay? I just need y'all to watch me.
Girl, and I did feel like that for a moment because even that day, that morning, I was still passing out. Like
Yeah.
I was still like talking to the lady, and I would literally wake up and I would feel like this tightness in my head. The room would be spinning, and I'm like, I just passed out. And she just standing there like looking at me, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is crazy. These people not gonna send me home. Like I'm ready to go home and see my son. Like I want my son. So I'm like, hey, this is crazy. So yeah, that was that.
How
And once
soon
you
do you
got
have
home to bounce back, like how long did it take before some of the pain started to subside?
It's still here.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe you.
I still feel pain from the incision that they dragged because they one of your incisions, you can tell it's not even really that big, but that's the one that they dragged the 80% of your stomach out of. That one has been leaking. Yeah, like I can see like when I get up in the morning, it'll be like leaking and stuff like that. But I won't lie, like I went to the track the other day with Nitra. Like I've been physically active because I can't. I had talked to another VSG patient and she was like, don't sit down. And I was like, okay. She said, don't like sit down all day. Try to move around as much as you can. So I can't lift my son still because I can't lift anything over 25 pounds. And I can't do any house chores yet. But home recovery was probably harder than the hospital, just because you're home, you want to like, you see this, you see that, but you really can't do too much. Like I can't even vacuum. I can't vacuum, no. So I couldn't do nothing. So yeah.
How soon do you have to go back and see a doctor since it's
I go
already been
Monday.
Okay.
I go Monday, and technically I'm not supposed to be that's what I was gonna get to. Today I ate for the first time in 4 weeks.
Right.
So I ate you're technically supposed to go to the puree stage. But for me, that's beans. So I went to Elwood Thompson and I got a bean wrap. And I can't have like whole vegetables and stuff yet because my stomach is not big enough. But I took the tomato and the lettuce out and I just ate the bean with the wrap, and I digested it. I mean, it went down perfectly fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Good.
Yeah. No pain at all.
Good.
Look, my question was, what's the difference between the VSG and the gastric bypass? What's the difference?
So the gastric sleeve, which was what I got, is when they cut 80% of your stomach off. Okay. And so you're not able to take anything, but they do not mess with your intestines.
Okay.
Gastric bypass, they don't cut the stomach off, they cut your intestines and they literally reroute it through your body. But the only thing that's kind of like, because I could have gotten either one. But the doctor told me that they basically kind of tell you what you're a candidate for based on your answers and what, even though I was a big girl, I've always been physical. I always have like went to the gym and stuff.
Yeah.
So they kind of like say, well, gastric sleeve would be good for you. So with gastric bypass, you don't absorb like really a lot of like your nutrients and stuff like that. And they can't, like, you, from my understanding, the research that I did, they can't like ever eat fried foods again, and I like fried mushrooms and stuff like that. They can't like never have that stuff. From my understanding, they can never have that stuff again. And sugar gives them, like with me, in a little while, like technically I will probably, because the sugar-free stuff been real good, but it been real good, y'all. But technically, like if you eat sugar, if you have gastric bypass, you have like horrible dumping syndrome. And so, it'll like really do you dirty. So I was taking like barbecue sauce. I was taking like barbecue sauce when I couldn't eat nothing, and I was squeezing it on the back of my hand like a little dot, and I was licking it. Like I'll take a sip of the chicken broth, and then I'll lick the barbecue sauce. Tastes like a piece of chicken.
I know that's right. You gotta get creative.
Yeah. So yeah.
So I think my next question, I guess you answered it. It was like, how has your food intake changed?
No, I did not cover that.
Oh,
So like the wrap I ate today, I can only eat less than half of a wrap.
Oh wow.
So if you
Mm.
take that wrap, if you get a wrap and you cut it in half, and then you cut it in fours, I can't even finish one of the fours.
You're
Really?
full
Yeah,
already.
yeah, yeah. And one of the things that really bother me, and I'm gonna be totally honest, that is taking, and I've gotten used to it because I have not filled my pouch up.
Okay.
But is I can't eat and drink at the same time anymore. So I have to do the 30-30-30 rule forever unless I want to go back to my old habit, stretch my pouch out. And you can stretch your pouch out. A
I
lot
was
of
getting
people,
ready to bring that up.
yeah, yeah, it is permanent, but you can stretch it out. And if you eat and drink at the same time, that's a good way to do it. So I have to drink and then I have to wait 30 minutes to eat. And then I have to wait 30 minutes from when I eat to drink again.
Oh
So
wow.
that's been very hard because I'm a guzzler. Like I will drink more than I eat. You know what I mean? So that has been very hard for me. But I'm doing it. Straws. I can't drink out of straws.
Mm.
That's very hard because I got a ton of Starbucks cups. So I can't drink out of straws anymore. And it's a lot. I'm not gonna lie, but that's 6 months. For anybody that's looking that maybe has thought about it or anything, to our viewers, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, it's one of the best decisions that I made. But that's 6 months, or some insurances is 4 months. Don't take that time for granted because you need to be reprogramming yourself. I didn't know how. I don't like to say addicted to food, but hey, it is what it is. I did not know I was eating that much until now.
Right.
I didn't know. Like, I'm like, dang, like, look at how much, just like, dang, I was eating a lot of food. You know what I'm saying? This is like 3 and 4 times a day. You know what I'm saying? I'm eating at work, I'm eating in the morning, I'm eating a sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich, hash browns. In the afternoon, I'm going to First Watch and I'm getting me a mushroom and zucchini sandwich with some potatoes and a drink. And I did not realize until now and how I'm so sustained with what I'm eating now. I didn't realize how much I was eating.
I have a question about that because to your point that you can stretch the pouch, or I know a couple people, I won't call no names, but I know a couple people who have had that surgery and they didn't change their eating habits. And I would say for one person that I know, it was maybe about 6 months to a year, you could see her start to gain the weight back. And now she just looks as though she never had the surgery.
Wow.
So what are some helpful things that your doctor maybe told you as far as like some of the precautions that you should take as far as like continuing good eating habits
Mhm.
afterwards?
I'll be honest with you. It was really the psychiatrist. And this is gonna sound not cliche, but this is gonna sound like, not crazy, but heal.
Right.
Heal. I'm gonna be honest. From January to about May, I had to do some deep healing because my relationship with food was emotional. A lot of people don't realize how much they use food as a just like emotional bonding. So when
Yeah.
things happen, even after you've had gastric sleeve, when things happen, you revert back to that. Like I had to heal with issues with my father. Like I had to go in and with my mom, I read a book called Healing the Child Within because it was that serious to me. Like I was tired of being that size. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like not wanting to go out in public. Like I was starting to hide from people. I went in Target and I seen a girl that we went to school with, and she was in Target with her kids. I literally hid from her because I did not want her to see me the way that I was. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I had been through a lot of things from 2015, and I said this was, something that I was going to speak on. I lost my mother in 2000 at the end of 2015. And then I got in my now, marriage, but I got into my relationship. And it kind of like coded what I was going through with losing my mom. My husband can cook. He cooking. I'm comfort eating. Then, we ended up having a miscarriage that next January. on top of my mom, I lost a child. We lost a child.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, I got pregnant again, and I had my son, and he ended up in the NICU for a year. So all of those things like caused me to just like spiral out of control. You know what I'm saying? But you around the people that you around and stuff like that. But sometimes, my sister, of course, but sometimes you don't stop to think like, damn, am I okay? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So on top of all of that, I was at, a job that I love. And 6 months after my mom passed away, I got laid off. I had just bought a house. So I had so much stuff going on that it just like took over. And so before I knew it, food was my comfort. Like it was the thing that it's like, shoot, my husband can cook, I can cook. We would eat good meals, you know what I'm saying? And my son was in the hospital. Then the hospital was providing meals for us sometimes during that time. I was depressed. Like my husband, we ain't had no jobs because our son was in the hospital full time. You know what I'm saying? So we would go to the hospital. We would eat what they had at the hospital. Like we were struggling so bad. So he was walking to work sometimes in the summer. We got bills. We behind on the mortgage. Like it was so much going on. But like I said, it wasn't that moment where you like, are you okay? I just kept eating because that was my comfort. And before I knew it, this is where I'm going to tell my weight. I ended up, my highest weight was 322 pounds. Me? I'm like, what in the world? So 322 pounds. And I was miserable. Like even doing the show with y'all, like some days I was just like, I don't want to be up here. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see the difference in my face now, but you look back at the other shows, my face was bigger at the Juneteenth thing. I just put a picture up aside of me losing a little bit of weight in the beginning. And I didn't even realize how big I was. Like I was standing there like, big back and all this or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, like I did not realize that I had put on that much weight. And I was so unhappy. And, once I initially said that I was going to do the process, you hear so much like, don't do it. This may happen, that may happen. And I know it's all out of like concern, but I had to go with what I was feeling. Like, I want to be here for my son. You know what I'm saying? And so from 322, when I got to the hospital, I was out of my pre-op diet, I was 310.
Okay.
And now I am 290. So,
Yay!
so the surgery definitely works. You just have to work it and you have to heal. Because if you don't, you will end up back at the same place because food is definitely an addiction. And I did not realize that until now, that I don't need to sustain on as much food as I was sustaining on before.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, just as a person who's had weight issues too, you're not by yourself. Sometimes our confidence does waver, especially when we have to look at our parents on top of all the other things that we're dealing with. And thank you for your vulnerability and talking about it, because I think for a long time, it's something that we kind of feel a little bit of a shame about. I don't think I've really ever told anybody either. I was 230 pounds. I'm 5'5". You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So when I lost the weight, it did something to my confidence, which made me want to heal in different ways, like not even just physically, like emotionally. And thank you for sharing that with us, because it is important that you love yourself from inside out.
Yes.
And so I appreciate you, friend, because I never had the courage to share with people. So thank you.
Yes. You are welcome.
We are proud of you.
Thank you so
proud
much.
of you.
And I want to tell y'all, thank you for y'all support, because y'all was supporting me through the process. When I first told y'all, when we took our pictures that day, when I first mentioned it, Like nobody made me feel, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh no, y'all don't do that. All of y'all was like, you got to do what make you happy. Like you got to do what make you happy. Like, and once I had like once I told my husband, he was in full support from the first time I tried the process in 2019. So once I had that like support, because your support system is everything. The therapist will even the psychiatrist will even tell you, if you don't have a good support system, you might fail at the process. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to go through seeing other people eat. You know what I'm saying? Like you physically, you can't eat that. You know what I mean? You can't sit down to a full meal. So physically, it's like, and mentally, you like, oh my God, like even today, like I'm like, I want my old stomach back, in a joke, saying like, I can't even finish half of this wrap. You know what I'm saying? But I was satisfied though, because they supposedly take your hunger hormone with the 80% of your stomach. And so when they told me that, I'm like, huh? And the only thing is I don't get hungry. And that's scary to me because I've never been there before. Like I'll go all day and be like, wait a minute, I ain't ate or drunk nothing. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you just, you, like I said, you just have to, hear that emotional part of you. And when you go through things that like make you mad, upset, I had a situation today that I kind of got upset a little bit. I put my music on, I sat on the porch. I got a new pair of boots today. So I unboxed them, you know what I'm saying? And I just went a different way as to where usually I'd be like, man, I'm going in here and cook me something good to eat. I sat on the porch. I did not come in the house. I just kind of chilled to get my thoughts together because this is hard. It's very hard.
Yeah.
But y'all had some good questions. Okay.
I got one other question. Okay. So did they say anything about vitamins or anything like that? I know anesthesia has something to do with our hair, right? So I do know a few people that have had some type of surgery, not knowing what kind, but I know one their hair grew fine. One their hair came out and never came back. So did they ever mention anything to you about that? I think the body goes into a shock. So that's why, they have loss of hair.
That's a great question. I have to take a multivitamin with iron because I have low blood. That's why I kept passing out in the hospital. But I have to take a multivitamin, and it's not like one multivitamin. I gotta take like 3 a day. And I gotta take, but you have to separate your iron from your calcium. You have to take them like 3 hours apart. So I'm on I take calcium. I take biotin for my hair. I also you have to take vitamin D, and you need to be taking B12. And so the problem is though, taking all of those vitamins, my stomach get full. It get, so that's where a lot of people hair fall out, because it's hard to get them vitamins down. But if you don't take the vitamins, 9 times out, like I'm already prepared to get me some nice wigs, because I was like, I already knew that was a side effect. You know what I'm saying? And, even with the anesthesia, when I washed my hair for the first time, oh my God, I lost so much hair. I was like, oh my God. So I'm already prepared for like some dope lace fronts or something, if that is to happen, because mostly everybody that I know has had the surgery, I be seeing them with some lace fronts on most of the time. So they say if you don't get your protein in, that's another way that it will take a toll on your hair. And it's very hard. I'm supposed to get 60 milligrams in of protein a day. I may get like 25 or 30.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question. That was a real, and another thing, once you do the surgery, you will be on vitamins for the rest of your life. Like it's not a couple year thing. You will be taking vitamins for the rest of your life, and you're not taking 9 times out of 10, not in the beginning. You really shouldn't be taking the over the counter ones. So they're very expensive. It's like $100 just for one bout of your vitamins. So I would say like $100 a month. Yeah.
It's
So,
worth it. You got to make
it
it up.
is.
You know, you got to make it up in some ways.
Yep,
So
yep,
give and
yep, yep.
take.
There, yep, yep. That is so true. Good with the bad. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So yeah. So yeah. Any more questions before we wrap this up?
I think you answered all of mine.
Mine too.
Okay, good. Well, in closing, I just want to say, any viewers that we have out there that's thinking about getting the surgery, the best thing that you can do, educate yourself, educate yourself, educate yourself. And don't tell anybody until the surgery is like, I didn't announce it until I had already had the surgery, because you do have people who have conditions that can like trigger some things. So, by all means, like I said, do your research, ask your doctor questions. Like, you don't have to go ask everybody, because you're gonna have some people who feel like and this is cliche because every bariatric patients say this is not the easy way out. Like, this is not the easy way out. I still have to work out if I want to look decent. I mean, you don't have to, but you're gonna end up kind of like losing the weight so fast that your body not
Right.
gonna be able to catch up. I still have to work out. I still have to eat right. I still got to try to get my water in, and all of this is with a 20% size stomach. So this is definitely not, you have healing time, I'm out of work right now, like you have you have the mental, you have everything to go. So it's not the easy way out, but it's definitely worth it, because I'm starting to feel like myself again.
That's good.
Good.
So yeah.
All right. And we're going to say we'll see you in 2.